back to SpectreVision. This week,
in with the wrong guy. What are you in for?
Killer Klowns from outer space.
Hello.
And welcome to the Frog Brothers Podcast presents SpectreVision. Tonight's film is the 1988 masterpiece, Killer Klowns from Outer Space. Yes, the one, the only Killer Klowns.
Yeah. 1988. Directed by Steven Chiodos.
Of the Chiodos brothers. Coincidentally, the band Chiodos named themselves after these gentlemen, these fine gentlemen.
Yeah, and I don't actually give a shit about the band Chiodos, just to be clear.
It's just a fun little fact for you to flick your bean to.
Fascinating. Anyway, they did a lot of puppetry work and creature effects of that nature, if you will. And they also worked on Critters, Ernest Scared Stupid. They reused some of these masks in Ernest Scared Stupid.
A lot of these costumes, hands and everything were included. Yeah. They're just repainted and redone. So if you're looking for a double feature for Killer Klowns from Outer Space, Ernest Scared Stupid is it, because you're going to see some amazing things.
Yeah. They also did some puppets for Team America, and I don't know if that means all the puppets or just some creature puppets or what.
Yeah.
So that's fascinating. Also, we're the Frog Brothers Podcast. We like the Lost Boys. This has an interesting shooting location.
Yes, on the boardwalk.
The Santa Cruz boardwalk.
Mm-hmm.
Fascinating.
Yes.
Pretty cool.
It is an awesome spot.
We need to make it out there.
Faux show.
See some Lost Boys film sites. Make a video. Do the thing.
Do the thing.
I do like the theme song by the Dickies as well.
It's great. The rest of the score by John Massari is very much a sign of the times. The film score that I was thinking of the entire time I listened to it was the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the movie score, probably done around the same time. Lots of similar guitar sounds and tones and things like that, and some of the same drum machines probably.
Yeah.
So when you said it reminded you of...
Bad Taste, because Bad Taste has a lot of, it's a lot more lo-fi in that movie, but it's very interesting, guitars mixed with drum machines and a couple synthesizers and shit, so I like that.
Yeah, and this is a time when Hollywood, especially for smaller features, was really trying to go away from your classical orchestral musical score, right? They're trying to do something different, especially if you're on a budget, and that sounds way better than a bunch of soft synths for a giant orchestra, so just fucking shred some guitar and get weird with some synths.
Let's see. Well, it kind of starts out in outer space.
In outer space, you see a comet or meteor.
In outer space, no one can hear you come.
Except me, because I have ears everywhere.
That's kind of gross. That just gave me the mental image of coming in an ear, not right in it, but come splattering on an ear. Let's put it that way.
I mean...
and we're probably 3 minutes into the podcast talking about cum splattering in ears, so welcome.
Welcome to the show.
It wouldn't be this show if we weren't doing that.
If we didn't get off track at some point in time and talk about something utterly junior high-ish, I wouldn't.
And if I didn't use being high as an excuse for something...
Yes, that's usually your scapegoat for it, and I just roll along with for the punches, because it
I'm
gets
high.
weird.
What do you want from me?
I don't know what I want from you.
I hope there's people that, every time I say that I'm high, they get really annoyed, and they're like, okay, we get it, you're high, dude, stop bringing it up. Okay, you're cool,
I have
dude.
the opposite. I hope other people are like, I'm high too.
I think they are. Because,
it's like a haiku, because I'm high too.
It's a great podcast to listen to, I think.
Well, yeah, if you listen to this sober, I appreciate it. Thank you for checking us out. But if you listen high, I'm sure it's more of a...
Sober people listening to this, I feel like they might have some questionable life choices, and somebody might need to intervene. And that is not a call for help.
No, Alec doesn't need an intervention yet.
Oh.
Maybe someday.
Holy shit! Well, that struck a nerve.
So Mike Tobacco and Debbie Stone are trying to get it on the Little Lover's Lane parking area.
Oh, yeah.
In Crescent Cove, California. Yeah, so this thing flies out of the sky. Crash lands, booms, bangs.
Bangs.
And that's where it gets interesting. This movie pissed me off immediately because as our dog friend and mascot walks in the room, I'm reminded of the dog, Farmer's dog, Gene Green's dog, the Basset Hound, the Hound Dog, it's the first victim to the goddamn Killer Klowns in this movie.
Yeah.
You see them open up the tent, and then like they show the dog's little
That makes me so fucking triggered.
bandana just on the ground. But hey, that dude's looking for his dog. And he's like, motherfucker, give me my dog back. And so he goes down fighting for his dog, and he's the hero of this movie, the real hero.
Shit-eating son of a bitch!
So let's not forget that. That was the most important thing in the movies, that the man follows his dog.
Friendship.
If that's all you take away from this, that's all I want you to remember.
Yeah. Dogs rule. Humans drool. I guess dogs drool too.
Yeah, lots of dogs. Depends on the breed, too.
What are you
So
gonna do?
Mike and Debbie get all weird, and they're like, hey, let's go check this thing out. Instead of...
And when we say, hey, go check this thing out, that's when Mike unzips his pants.
And that's what should have happened.
And then
'Cause
you
two
could have had a boy.
Yeah. I mean, you got clowns in
But
there.
I
You
didn't
guys
write
will
and
have some
direct
sound
this,
effects.
so you don't have that happening.
Not in this one. It could be in the sequel, though.
Could be.
Which is...
They might hire me. I'm in talks. I mean, don't write anything, don't, hold this down to paper or don't go to the press with this, but, I'm in talks.
A sequel to this
We're
movie's
talking.
been in development hell almost as long as Ghostbusters 3 was. So,
Yeah.
hey, we finally got that one. So here's
Well, that's why we're going to call it Killer Klowns from Outer Space Afterlife.
Exactly.
And we're going to come out with,
Actually, I think we're going to call it Killer Klowns from Outer Space, The Afterlife Awakens.
oh, yeah, that works.
I mean, I think really you got to go for those vibes, right?
Because then it'll kind of be ghosts versus this.
Ghosts versus aliens, yeah.
Yeah.
And that takes place in space, so it'll all work out.
Merchandising.
It'll be a
I need
good
to get
movie.
that as a sound clip of just from that movie, is him saying
Yeah.
merchandising. I want to do that. Remind me to do that, self, when you're listening to this podcast later, just for whatever reason.
Well, Mike and Debbie,
Fuck Mike and Debbie. No, just
they
kidding.
find this stupid fucking tent, circus tent, and they're like, hey, let's go inside. Are you a fucking asshole?
Mike clearly has his priorities all out of whack.
Yes.
And Debbie is probably sitting there like,
If you
dude,
really
I
want
just
to,
fucking
dude.
like ruined the upholstery in your car because I'm fucking dripping over here. And here you all want to go to this fucking tent. And it really just looks like a bug tent, like we're going to go in here and fucking die.
It does.
Actually, that reminds me, I saw an episode of 1001 Ways to Die. Remember that one? When that was on air like 15 years ago? I'm old. But there was an episode where people thought there was a circus tent, and they went inside, and it was a fucking bug tent, and they just fucking...
all died of asphyxiation from
Well, they
poisoning?
they started getting high, basically, for
Yeah.
a short second, and then, they passed out and died.
Well, I guess that's one way to go. If you gotta go, go with a smile. Joker products. You gotta love it.
Love that Joker.
So they go in there and they explore and they find their way through around. They're like, oh, this doesn't look like it's from here. Like, they got some real cool stuff, and it's like, maybe something, maybe this is the comet that landed here and everything.
And they're just like, well, let's get lost, right?
Yeah,
Let's
pretty
do that.
much.
That's the thing to do.
let's just go wander around and keep trespassing this private property instead of calling the authorities.
These motherfuckers would have been cotton candy like that.
I know.
Over. Movie over. The fact that they are your main characters is a bummer, because the dudes in the ice cream machine are more entertaining.
Well, they set these two up to get killed right away, like you would like see some of the initial like teenage characters getting killed.
Well, they're
And-
very bland.
Yeah, they're pretty boring. And they don't get killed. Spoiler alert. And they find the cotton candy pods. And they're like, what is this? It smells like candy in here.
I'm never going to watch this movie without having a bunch of popcorn and candy on hand.
No.
Because it's just upsetting to see that around, and I'm just like, it's not fair.
Is it fucked up that like even the cotton candy doesn't look appetizing in this? It just looked like they used the pink insulation, the Pink Panther
Oh,
insulation
you're making me
stuff.
fucking itchy. Shut the hell up.
Don't you imagine putting a bite of that in your mouth? The cotton candy, Pink Panther cotton candy. All those glass shards in your mouth, spreading everywhere, itching for eternity. That would be
I
a scarier
can't find
movie.
a quote that says I want to kill myself.
That would be scarier than this. Not that this movie isn't scary, because it's fucking amazing in its own glorious way. But, you know, you gotta narrowly escape some shit.
Come
you know what I
on,
mean?
kill me! I'm here!
You did have one, you son of a bitch.
I
You
had to
came
find
through.
it. Yes. I had Alf's. Ha! I kill me, but that wasn't fitting. And
No, not in this moment. We already talked about him anyhow.
I have two kill me's, and it's Alf, I kill me, and then,
So you get through like a crazy amount of just shenanigans as they escape this thing, and like, oh, they try to go and tell the police department, right? And Mike is like, hey, we got to do something about this.
Here's your only interesting casting choice, too. Is John Vernon as Deputy Curtis Mooney.
He's fucking on point, too. And
He's great, and he has a very commanding voice. And if you know him from anything, it's like me, probably from Animal House, as the Dean.
He's fucking hilarious in that, too. Just like straight guy, but, you know.
So Dave is the other deputy there that's working with Curtis that night.
Straight man is the comedy phrase I was looking for. When I say straight guy, people are probably like, what does his sexuality have to do with anything?
Yeah, no.
I meant straight man as in...
The not funny, over-the-top guy. The guy that's kind of like there on the scene. It's like just everyone's expecting, like, oh, that guy. But apparently Dave used to date Debbie. And
Debbie does Dallas.
well, Debbie did Dave, and he probably was in Dallas, based on the time frame. And Debbie did Mike,
Tex.
too.
I don't remember where Tex was from.
Exactly. So, they go tell Deputy Dave, and...
Deputy Dave, is that the other guy, the main... The one that we follow around, the blonde dude? Mm-hmm. I didn't ever write his name down because I was literally just like, all right, I was waiting for them to introduce main characters this whole fucking movie, man, because none of these people fit the leading character role for me.
Deputy Curtis is the closest thing you get to a leading man in this role, and he's way underutilized.
I should preface this by saying I've seen this movie like 2 or 3 times before today. And the first time, let's talk about that real quick, because I was a child. A child. I have that somewhere. Where is it?
A child.
I was a child.
A child.
You were a child?
A child.
A child.
A child.
A child.
Fuck it.
No, I was a child, and I was watching this Killer Klowns movie.
A child.
At somebody was watching it at Granny's house.
Okay.
Our grandmother had a trailer that she lived in. Lovely woman, great woman. We've probably mentioned her a couple times here. We have various pop culture connections tied to her place with memories and stuff. So this is one of them. Killer Klowns from Outer Space was on. It was late at night. I was running around with the Lone Ranger thing that she had on.
Oh, the Lone Ranger mask?
Yeah, the Lone Ranger mask, like the eye one, and like the little cap gun that goes with it. And I was like fucking doing badass shit. I don't know what I was doing. I was playing around, doing some kid shit, right? Something that
A child.
would do.
Exactly.
And I remember coming in and seeing. I wasn't watching the whole movie at all. Like, I kept having to leave the room and just being like, no, this is fucked up. I can't do this. The only thing I remember from it as a child, because it horrified me so much, was the scene at the fast food restaurant.
Oh, where there's clown's trying to lure the little girl out?
Yeah, and he's like... It was fucking burned into my skull, and I never even knew what this movie was till I was like 16 when I figured out that it was the same movie. And I was like, oh, I can't watch that. It's going to fucking traumatize me too much. But obviously, when I was like 25, I was like, fuck it, I don't care. Traumatize me, bitch. I'm already traumatized.
So growing up, we had cable, and so the first time I remember seeing
Cable.
this movie... Cable was around 1991, because I was playing with my Batman Returns Batmobile Batmissile vehicle while watching this on cable.
Well, there's very distinctive, creepy memories tied to these kind of things.
Exactly,
Like, I
like
remembered
you're
the fucking mask, and he remembers this exact Batmobile he's playing with.
Yeah, and I used the real Ghostbusters firehouse as Batman's Bruce Wayne Manor. And
Well, that's what you do. You do those things.
You improvise.
Sometimes the Ghostbusters might have to drive the Batmobile.
And I remember I lost one of the missiles to the Batmobile while I was watching this movie, and I was looking for it the whole time, so I was kind of going back and forth. But this would have been probably around its cable premiere, because if you look at the time frame for when I had that and when this movie came out.
Cable? Yeah, probably.
So, yeah, it's right around then. Or they still had the rights to it, so they're still showing it regularly. But I remember being freaked out by the cotton candy pods.
Yeah.
Especially when he sticks that straw in there and, like, slurps the guts out of it.
I love the crazy straw. The little touches like that are great.
Oh, that crazy straw? Because that was such an 80s thing, too. Like, they'd give you those for free, or you'd buy them. I remember, like, the wacky ones that you drink through, and they go all around your eyes and loop around and, like, cool your face.
Yeah.
And then you drink it. And then, yeah.
I like the ice cream truck dudes, and they have what they obviously typecast as fat girls.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say that as me judging them, because it's not me judging them. The movie did this on purpose, because they're sitting there and they only went on a date with these guys so they could get free ice cream. They didn't actually want to go on the date.
Yeah, and
but the guys are kind of sleazy and stupid, so I'm not saying that the women are evil when I say that. I'm just saying that's what the characters are doing. The dudes are like, well, let's fuck, basically.
It's
and they're
very
like,
intentional that, they bought this ice cream truck to try to get laid, and the in-joke is that they keep fighting each other back and forth over it. Like, was your idea. But that's Paul and Rich Terenzi, as those guys' names, the characters.
I do like the...
And they're Mike's friends, so Mike calls them for help once they realize that things are...
I get the vibes of Creepshow from the redneck guy and his dog, though. Reminded me of Stephen King and the Comet.
Yeah, for sure.
That's one of the ones I really don't like in Creepshow, because body horror fucks with me. So that actually sort of fucks with me watching that one. Because he like turns into the fucking moss monster, whatever the fuck he ends up being.
But I love some of the effects in this movie, right? Because this is a fairly low-budget film.
Which it obviously shows, but
you still get that classic animation, like overlays that you get in like Ghostbusters or Poltergeist and these things, or any kind of 80s movie that had like some special lighting effects. Like, so the little ray guns, the Killer Klowns he uses, pretty cool. Like, turn them into pods and everything else.
I like how there's like popcorn everywhere and shit too when they're just like dragging around and dropping popcorn. Like, oops. Hope they don't notice I'm here now because there's popcorn.
Gotta tell another weird story about this movie being a kid?
Sure.
So you
didn't jerk off to it, did you?
No, I was too young.
You didn't discover your sexuality to JoJo the Clown, did you?
No, it was the...
Okay, it's just me then.
It was when Debbie was taking a shower. I just kind of remember being like, "Ooh, this is kind of neat." I just kind of like had a sense of like,
"Oh, Jesus Christ, I'm right."
And you're just
I like somehow mentally predicted that he was having a sexual awakening during this movie.
No, not an awakening. It was just an awareness. You're just like, you don't know why, but you're like, "Huh, that's kind of neat."
I genuinely remember. I don't remember what movie it was, but like I think it might even be Titanic. Like getting one of those movie boners because she's being drawn naked, and you're like, "Huh, what's going on?
Yeah,
what is with this? What the fuck? Is this a medical problem?"
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell anyone about this. What the fuck?
Yeah, exactly. It feels like the
hope I don't die
episode of Family Guy where it's like, "It appears my wee-wee has been stricken with a case of rigor mortis."
Yeah. Oh, Jesus.
But yeah, that was another weird thing about this movie, which is awkward because like they had the killer popcorn in the bathroom in that scene.
Yeah.
Which they fucking drag out so much in this movie. Like they have her go in the bathroom and it's like 20 minutes by the time they come back and fucking resolve this plot point.
I had forgotten.
So fucking stupid.
I remember feeling the same way.
Like when it finally came back to it, and I watched this on a free streaming app and it had like fucking
because shower scenes, I was like, ooh, are there boobs in this movie that I don't remember? And I was like, nah, there's not. But like, anytime there's a shower scene in a horror movie, you're like, all right, there's a couple things that are going to happen here. Either she's washing up for sex, she's washing up post-sex, she's washing up and is going to get interrupted and fucked, or we're just going to see her titties.
And none of those happen.
Or you might see her titties in a combination of any of those other things. But none of those happen. And then it just picks up later and what, she's like putting her clothes on. Like,
yeah, but all that popcorn that the clowns shoot at her and Mike as they're like escaping the tent originally and like is on the clothes and like grows into
monster things, yeah.
Yeah, the monster.
They're in the fucking little
that long
laundry.
ass fucking snake Beetlejuice feeling killer clown is awesome.
I actually wrote down Beetlejuice vibes very much because of the
that one would be a real easy one to replicate and have in your home as like a killer replica or a killer clown.
Not just the snake, but later when they're at the very end they're at the theme park, a lot of Beetlejuice vibes there too.
For sure, yeah. I mean, Beetlejuice doesn't stray away from like the whole circusy vibe at times, so that makes sense.
Yeah, when we got to the teens going to the police, but that's when the clowns are also trying to like go out in public now and fuck with people.
Well, yeah, the clowns
like delivering pizza and shit. I love that one.
Yeah, they just go up and like trick people. Like, here's pizza, what? And then they steal the person in a popcorn pod.
But yeah, like I said, the fast food one, that's what fucks me up. That was my note here. But
another one of my favorite scenes is like when that whole fucking clown parade's going through town and they're just like catching people en masse. Like, and fucking...
Yeah.
It's just going wild. And that's, I think, when you really start seeing Paul and Richie kind of coming through, too, with the ice cream clown.
I like the bus stop where there's a bunch of people sitting there and then the clown walks up and he's doing shadow puppets or whatever and fucking eats them with a shadow puppet.
Yeah, and that's when the cop finally sees that this shit's real. Like, Mike and Dave are sitting there, and he's like, oh, fuck. and then they decide to split up. Because that's the best way to do things.
Yeah. At least it's like one of those self-aware movies, kind of like how Sharknado is, where it's like it's not trying to take itself seriously. That's why you're getting a shadow puppet kill. If it was actually trying to scare you, it would do something else.
And
like any adult watching this who doesn't have just an irrational fear of clowns would not be scared of anything in this movie.
No.
A child, fucking good luck, buddy. You're going to be terrified. But that's just weird. That's just the imagery. It's not because there's frightening moments, really. It's just the imagery that'll fuck with you as a kid.
The clown costume designs, and especially the faces, are unsettling enough, and they move well enough that they're done so well that they work. Right? Because even if you know it's a real person in there, it's still
seeing
unsettling.
The people in the pods and seeing the kid being lured away, that shit's scary.
Yep, and then Debbie gets put into the ball, which is kind of interesting because you're like, how's that going to resolve itself?
Yeah. What about that guy diving into the trash? What's up with that?
Oh, diving in the trash after he hears sounds in the trash outside the pizza restaurant?
Yeah.
Fucking dumbass. And that's one of the most underwhelming kills. It felt like they're like, yeah, we need another kill scene in here, so they did some editing and just threw that in because it didn't really feel like it fit with everything else, but they're just trying to do it for a pacing issue.
Apparently all these clowns have names too.
Yeah.
That's what people refer them as. I couldn't keep track of all of them. I was just like, ugh, this is hard.
I haven't watched this movie a lot, and so I forgot how many clowns there were in it. Especially seeing the parade scene, I'm like, oh fuck, there are a lot of clowns in here because there's a bunch at the end.
There's a couple of reoccurring
and I'm
ones.
like, okay, yeah, you get a couple of main character style ones, but
there's probably 5, I want to say, or 6 that have mechanical puppetry masks or whatever, and then there's just regular ass masks for some of them.
Yeah, you've got the ones that are obviously remote controlled and done up really well.
But then Mooney gets to fight one of the clowns.
Yeah, at the jail. Yep.
And he's like, I'm not taking your shit, buddy. I don't know.
That's one of the best plot points in there because his performance is amazing. Everyone's trying to call the police station. He's like, I'm not going to get fucking scammed by you assholes. I'm not falling for it. He just thinks Dave's fucking with him and wants him to retire. I won't be chased out of this department.
That guy is out acting everyone in a crazy way.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. And anytime anybody else is talking on screen, I'm kind of just fucking zoned out. But when he talks, I'm like, this man commands the screen. He is fucking eating it up.
Yeah, and even those punk rockers that you're introduced to at the beginning of the movie that are in jail for the college kids that were drinking on the town, you see them in the jail cell. You're like, oh, so you are.
Yeah, I forgot that was even them. See, that you pointing that out to me now realizes, oh, that's who that was there?
That was the whole point that they were there at the beginning is because they had them there still.
That's amazing.
Just for that, just to have somebody else in the jail cell.
I didn't even recognize them, but I do remember them from the beginning, so I was paying enough attention.
Yeah, no, so that was fun. And then seeing him, after he gets turned into a clown and the clown's talking through him, and he becomes the puppet, that was fucking amazing.
Oh, yeah, I do love that. The puppet, that would scare you as a kid, too, I bet.
Yeah, that scene was probably one of the scariest scenes in the movie, actually, just the way that you could tell he's dead and
because
it's puppeteering him and it's his voice and everything.
It's the perfect blend, too, of, the horror elements combined with the silly. It's not too much one or the other.
And very much Independence Day has vibes of this, where the alien talks through the dead person's body or the voice box and uses it. That's what they...
What is it you want us to do?
Die.
And that's basically what happens.
Can there be a peace between us?
No.
Peace. No peace. Bring me your penis.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of penis and cream pies, the pie gag at the security guard outside, that was awesome. You see him just start getting hit with pies.
No, I love it. He says, what are you going to do with those pies, boys?
Yeah, and they fucking melt him. And then as the clowns, after you realize the clowns have killed him from this, because you just see a bunch of pies hitting him, and then all of a sudden he's like a pile of corpse with bones melted in there, and then they fucking put a cherry on top of it, which is the best.
Yeah.
I love that fucking clown sets the cherry on top, goes in the fucking tent after that. Beautiful.
Yeah, that made me hungry.
You it made you hungry for a cream pie, huh?
Made me hungry, yeah.
Alec loves the cream pies. Yep. Little Debbie's specifically.
Oatmeal cream pies. Homemade. Yeah.
So the Funhouse spaceship, you get in there and that's entertaining again.
Mm-hmm.
The cotton candy room, I love how it got... Oh, there it goes. My voice cracked.
Oh!
There it goes. It finally happened.
It finally happened.
And then luckily, Mike had been in there earlier, so when him and Dave go back, he's like, I've been here before. I know how to find So they go find Debbie, and then...
Debbie does Dallas again.
Exactly. And I like how they're like, we're going to shoot this thing. And like he's like, get out of the way. And like he doesn't move out of the way of the fucking gun. They just pop the balloon. And she gets out and they're like, how are you? She's like, I can't breathe.
So, did they like... This is something I either missed because I wasn't paying enough attention because they did not do enough to hold my attention.
Yes.
But did they rescue all the other people?
No. So they made a whole point about, we don't have time because a bunch of other clowns come in. And so like, there might be other people alive is what Dave says, the police officer. And they're like, no, we don't have time. So they get out of there.
So what you're telling me is that Debbie and Mike lived, but...
A child.
Died?
Uh-huh.
That's fucked up. That's rude. Yeah. They were worthless characters, and that child... Damn it, I tried to hit it again.
A child.
Did not deserve to die.
Fuck that. It's the goddamn dog in this movie I was pissed about.
Same.
I'm still going back to that. I'm like, get the goddamn dog out of there.
Oh, Jesus! Oh, God! Oh, Jesus! God! Oh, Mary, Mother of Jesus! Jesus of Nazareth!
That's how I reacted when the dog died.
Then we get the giant clown.
Which is fucking hilarious.
It's so stupid and like out of nowhere, but it works. Because it's just this giant, terrifying clown.
Yeah.
And then like, oh, he's the ultimate boss. It's like playing a video game.
Pretty much.
You know, like, now we gotta fight the big boss. How are we gonna get away from this thing? I'll distract it. I'm gonna shoot at it. Shoots at it and doesn't do anything, which...
I will crush your bones into dust!
How do you shoot other clowns throughout this movie that explode? And I love how they don't just fucking lay down and die. They explode and like disappear.
Yeah, it's the nose. And it's one of those things like when he killed the first one, he should have been like, it's their noses, guys. We can defeat them easily.
Yeah.
And then you literally just go around shooting them in the nose or pop in their noses. No big fucking deal. You win. You can save all the cotton candy. Instead, this guy... I will call him, I don't know, the Deputy Badly Written...
Dave.
Deputy Badly Written Dave doesn't ever reveal this information to anyone and waits till they're outside and he's like, now I'll use my secret. I know that their nose is a weakness. Let me take my badge and pop his nose and save my own ass.
Yeah. And that was hilarious because like by then the state police have arrived that they're trying to call for and like they all like set up and then the magic top is spinning. Ooh, it's all Inception like there.
Reminds me of Close Encounters.
Yeah. And then, Dave is fighting this giant...
It looked like an ice cream cone.
And then, he takes his badge off and pops its snout. And it doesn't even look like he pops the balloon snout. It's like he just touches it to it. And then they're like, oh, that's an explosion. Like, some of the effects in this are amazing, and some of the shots just look like you couldn't have done that one more time and had it look better. Really. But, I mean, they were shooting on real film, so they may have been... running out on some of those.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you can't kill off Dave after he sacrifices himself. He survives by landing in the clown car nearby, and the state police all draw their guns on him, and they're so worried.
Oh, I have a couple other random notes here we'll go through real quick before we completely... Forgot about that ball pit. That was a little creepy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's some real off-putting stuff. Yeah.
Oh, when they're shotgunning clowns, too. They did actually shotgun a few. That was pretty cool for a minute. I like when they're sliding down the pole. Obviously, Ghostbusters vibe just because it's a pole. But then you have, like, the fucking Rancor at the bottom, it feels like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Beetlejuice vibes I just wrote down, obviously. We talked about that already. The big monster. And we're up to date.
We're up to date. And so... I love how Paul and Rich survived their encounter as well because
well, when they flipped the ice cream truck over and killed him, I was like, why did you even keep him along this long then?
Yeah, and then they're like, no, we survived because we got into the frozen part of the truck.
Yeah, we saw that what's that? Indiana Jones, the fourth one that hasn't come out yet. And we saw how Harrison Ford survived the nuclear bomb in a refrigerator. So we figured we must be able to survive a little explosion in a freezer.
And they all come out covered with ice cream and being weird again. And
either that or Steven Spielberg ripped them off.
Could be. I don't know.
Biggest rip-off artist of all time.
The Lord works in mysterious ways. Like childhood cancer.
Exactly.
And rape.
Mm-hmm.
But, it's the Lord, so that's
what I always say, the difference between me and Gad. If I witnessed the rape, I'd stop it. Hey.
Zing, zang, zoom. No, this movie's just fucking ridiculous start to finish.
Yeah. There's pie falling from the sky and shit.
At the end, they're like, "You think it's over?" And then the pie falls, like implying there's a sequel, and it never happened, which is fucking amazing. I love when people are pompous enough to like set shit up for a sequel on purpose, and then it doesn't happen. It's beautiful.
Yep. Fingers crossed that you don't get a sequel, Malignant, just because I want to see that setup fucking go nowhere. Just to fucking stick it to you, because no.
No, that's timeout for you.
What do you leave a comment? Leave us a review if you're listening to this on like Apple Podcast, or if you're not, go there and leave us a review, please, because we need more reviews. We need more listeners. We have a little pretty consistent audience here, but we can always use more. There's plenty of us to go around.
Yeah, there's plenty of us to
You
go
want
around.
us to spread us around on your. You guys are the bread, right?
And I'm going to tell you right now,
we're the butter.
You're going to have to listen to Thursday's episode. We got the full episode's releasing Thursday this week. We got a fucking great story. It's going to fucking warm your hearts and make you laugh.
What are you talking about? We're releasing a couple things this week. 3 things, right?
Yeah, we got this, an interview that's releasing, and then we've got a regular episode.
Right.
There's going to be a story on the regular episode.
Oh, you're talking about a story.
Personal story about myself. It's beautiful. It's heartwarming. It's going to make you happy. So you have to tune in to hear that.
And also, if you're listening to this, check out our interview with Greg Sestero from The Room that just also dropped today. So check that out, because that was pretty fun.
All right. Well, that's enough of us.
Comment, subscribe, like, all the things that you should do. You know what to do. Do those things,
You
please.
know where to find us.
Please, I'm desperate.
Us. You know where to click.
She's got a whole shoebox full of things at home. Please, I'm desperate. I'm desperate for likes and subscribes. And comments. Comment below.
Hyper on 2.
All right, good night, everybody. Hey guys, thanks for listening to the Frog Brothers Podcast. We'd greatly appreciate it if you could like and subscribe if you're listening on YouTube. And if you're listening on the audio feed on Spotify or Apple or Twitch or wherever you listen, tell your friends and make sure to subscribe to our YouTube at youtube.com/thefrogbros. Hit us up on Instagram at Frog Bros Podcast, on Twitter at bros_frog, on TikTok at Frog Bros Podcast, and follow us on Facebook. Join our Facebook group Frog Bros Video by searching just that, Frog Bros Video. Hit request to join and you'll be approved. We have shirts available. The link is in our Instagram bio and below in the description. And you can find stickers on Etsy at Frog Bros, all one word. Additionally, if you'd like to give us a call and leave a voicemail soon, our Patreon will be live and we'll be posting monthly responses and reactions to the voicemails. Dial 816-832-5388.